So let's talk about why a lot of you guys fail in the gym. First and foremost, you're not ready to put in the time and the effort that it takes to go through the discomfort of getting the physique you want. You're also very impatient. It takes time to and a lot of consistency to get to where you want to go. And then you got to be absolutely dialed in with your nutrition and everything else. Okay? This is a lifestyle. It is not a sprint, it is a marathon. There is a healthy and unhealthy way of going about things. And there's a million different ways to do it. Now, let me start off by telling you on how I do it. Okay? I keep things balanced. I'll typically do full body exercises every day. Now, if I'm doing a heavy weight training program where I'm focusing on my strength or something like that, I'll do upper body, lower body splits, speed, speed and strength days, bands, all that kind of stuff. Lately, it's pretty much just been functional training with two supersets at the end of my extremely long, drawn out warm up. In my earlier years, I was an ego lifter and I lifted heavy all the time. Definitely don't do that. That's going to come back to haunt you. And not knowing what you're missing will also come back to haunt you as you begin to work in imbalances, interior pelvic tilts, mess up your kinetic chain, back issues. All this kind of stuff will arise if you're not smart about your training. You need to be writing it down if you're not good at keeping it all up here. At the end of 8 weeks, you look at all the muscle groups you hit, see where you may have lacked, and then for the next program, try to make up the reps and workload there. That way, you're not having anything overdeveloped or working overtime, right? Because what can happen is the minute your body gets misaligned, it'll start forming new neural pathways, and other muscles will begin to atrophy and die. For example, I never really worked on my hamstrings or my glutes. And when I did squats, it was primarily quad dominated. Well, when I herniated the two discs in my back, I realized pretty quickly that the only way I was going to strengthen my back or that part of my body was to fortify the surrounding areas. I realized I was using my back too much. I was never a form Nazi. Looking back on it now, I really wish I would have been safer. But ultimately, I had to build up my hamstrings and my glutes because that would help shoulder the load of my lower back. What a lot of people don't know is muscles are levers, right? The muscle attaches to it, turns into a tendon, which is attached to a bone. It pulls on the bone and it moves it a certain direction. So if you're tight in some areas, it's going to pull the body in that direction. And if you're underdeveloped and, somewhere else, it's going to cause misalignment. Another example, bench press has always been my favorite lift. I was chasing a 500 pound bench press, and I was lifting heavy all the time. Well, by doing chest exercises all the time and not doing my back exercises, my chest, right, the muscles come from here and attach to the front of the shoulder. They got so tight and overdeveloped that it pulled my scapula forward, and I ended up pinching a nerve in both shoulders where my pinky and three of my fingers were essentially numb, right? So by not having a good warm-up, good mobility, good technique, by the time I hit 29-30, I started falling apart. First, it was the pinched nerve in the shoulders. Then I herniated the two discs in my back. Then I got Achilles tendonitis. Then I got tendinopathy or patella tendonitis. And I was just a shell of myself, you know. I went from being able to do like 6 minute miles to 9, 10 minute miles, always being in pain. Another reason of that is because I wasn't, really key, eyeing in on my, zoning in on my diet. As I got older, I started to also get food sensitivities. And a lot of you guys, I'm sure, have food sensitivities, and you're just not showing symptoms, or the symptoms that you are showing aren't alarming to you. But I promise you, your gut is your second brain. All the chemicals that make you feel good, motivated, all that kind of stuff come from the gut. And so you have to have a good, healthy gut. And I hate to break it to you, a lot of the probiotics at stores do not work. The gastric juices just burn them right up. And so you really have to look into reputable brands. So that being said, make sure you're taking care of your stomach. My nutrition and how I go about it: I fast. I eventually get to a shake. I then snack on fruits, and then later in the day I'll do a heavy protein meal with some carbs. Normally rice. I'll keep it simple. I actually don't do a lot of protein. Uh, it From the science, carbs seem to be more anabolic. Now, why people want to stay away from carbs is beyond me, because the brain essentially needs carbs to survive. And a matter of fact, it's your immediate resource whenever you need to do anything intense. Um, it just depends on the type of sugar, I guess, and when you consume it. Um, so, there's a lot that goes into it. And if you need help, you can definitely reach out to me. But um, let's just conclude. Nutrition super important. Make sure you're doing your cardio respiratory training. Have a good warm up. Figure out how to, stretch, do dynamic movements, which are essentially stretching while moving. Get comfortable with a foam roller. Get a massage gun, and just wake up the nerves in some areas that might have some discomfort. Get an EMS machine too. Get comfortable with ice. When I get to the gym, I hit the elliptical for 10, 20 minutes. I'll then do the row machine for 2 to 3 minutes. I have two exercise machines that I like that are assisted. It's a shoulder press sled and a pull up sled. I'll do 3 sets of 10, superset those. I then go upstairs to the functional training area. I'll do, my foam rolling. I'll then get into my dynamic movements. Sometimes I'll whip out the massage gun and just get a little bit of extra work in. From there, I'm getting into functional training. I'm getting on the sled. I'm doing, farmer's carries at a lighter load, making sure I'm getting my body temperature up, acclimating myself upward, so that when I do get to heavyweight, I'm not just shooting from the hip. So after I do all that, my first weight training superset, the first lift is going to be a compound movement like a bench press, a squat, a what have you. And I will be using percentages so I can track how I am improving, right? I'll start off in lower percentages, and as I go through the weeks, I'll keep going up until I get to a point where I am going to do another 1 rep max and test again. And if I found any weight improvement in that movement, that means I got development, hands down. Now, for those of you that don't want to lift heavy, obviously don't do it all the time. But what you don't understand is you have a couple different muscle fiber types. You got slow twitch and you got fast twitch. Fast twitch fibers are going to activate close to maximal efforts thing. So if your PR on the bench press is 300 pounds and you do 290, that's going to activate your fast twitch fiber. If you're doing 135 for 40 reps, that's going to be your slow twitch fibers. Some people are more slow twitch dominated and vice versa. However, your fast twitch fibers are your denser fibers. You want to make sure you hit those. As you age, those are the most important. As you get older and your hormones start to decline, you stop working your fast twitch muscles and you try to go from no movement to movement, aka getting out of your chair. That fast twitch fiber doesn't work. You fall or you can't get up and you're bedridden, and it just gets worse and worse and worse because once you're bedridden, you can't exercise, and if your nutrition's not on point, you're you're dead man, and you're being kept alive by modern medicine. And just remember, modern medicine will help a symptom, but will not cure the problem. Do a lot of research on your own. This herbal stuff is not voodoo, voodoo stuff. Our ancestors knew amazing things, and your health should be your top priority. If you take care of yourself, you'll be able to take care of those around you. Anyways, I'm done blabbering. I'll catch you guys later.